Welcome to our Amud Yomi shiur. It's not really an Amud Yomi, but we're aiming to do an Amud. Welcome to our Gemara shiur. Bezos Hashem, we are learning Maseches Shabbos, and today's Amud Bezos Hashem will be Kuf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. But right now we're in Kuf Lamed Aleph in the bottom of the page. This shiur is in memory of my father, the Menachem Ben Akiva, Atzlocha and Atzalo of all of Klal Yisrael, of all the Cholim and Jason's parents. And we are now learning about Rabbi Eliezer's opinion. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion that one may break Shabbos in order to prepare for certain mitzvahs. Many mitzvahs Rabbi Eliezer believes, especially mitzvahs shazman gromo. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion that one may break Shabbos in order to prepare for bris milah that has to be done on the 8th day. If the 8th day falls on Shabbos, and you didn't get the knife on time, you're allowed to take the knife to Rishus Rabim, to Rishus Yochid in order to perform the bris milah. What else? We will see later, matzah, lulav, succah, all these things you may break Shabbos according to Rabbi Eliezer in order to make the mitzvah, to prepare for the mitzvah. Two exceptions to the rule are, and we are now getting into the Gemara's text, Tana Namihachi. It says in the Brisa, Vishovin, both opinions are equal, meaning both Rabbi Eliezer and Chachamim believe, Shimtzias talisoi. If the person made talis, if the person made the tzitzis, he created the tzitzis, he tied the tzitzis to his talis, the also mezuzah lepischoi, or the person made the mezuzah, he wrote the mezuzah, he fixed the mezuzah lepischoi, by the doorstep, shuchayev. If you did that on Shabbos, even according to Rabbi Eliezer, since you are preparing for the mitzvah and not doing the mitzvah, you're preparing for the mitzvah of tzitzis, you're making the tzitzis, you're making the mezuzah, uchayev. You chayev for that, meaning you're not allowed, more than not allowed, you're not allowed, and it's an issa d'oraisa, to prepare your tzitzis or mezuzah on Shabbos as opposed to other mitzvahs. My time, what's the reason? Why is it that those mitzvahs are different to most other mitzvahs in which Rabbi Eliezer does allow you to prepare on Shabbos and break Shabbos? These mitzvahs, as opposed to the other ones, are not time-bound. They're not zman groma. Tzitzis, you can wear whenever you want. Mezuzah, whenever you want. In other words, it's not time-pressing. If I have a sukkah, and the first day of sukkah is Shabbos, let's say, and I need my sukkah now, I need to be Mekayim mitzvah sukkah now, and I did not prepare the sukkah before. According to Rabbi Eliezer, I'm allowed to physically build the sukkah on Shabbos because I got to sit on it right now. What else do you want me to do? So that pushes away Shabbos. M'shenken tzitzis and mezuzah, you have tzitzis all the time, mezuzah all the time. There's no set time for them, and therefore wait with that till tomorrow. Wait till Sunday, and then make your tzitzis. Wait till Sunday, and then fix the mezuzah, or write the mezuzah. Vos Brent, what's the big rush? Omar le Abaye answers Abaye. Abaye now claims, questioning what Rav Yosef just said. I don't know if you noticed, Abaye many times argues with Rav Yosef, who was his teacher. Omar le Abaye, Adrabe, on the contrary, mide'en kavua lehem zman, precisely because there's not time bound. This is not a mitzvah you can do whenever you want and you can push away. The mitzvahs of mezuzah and tzitzis, the commitment, the chiyuv, the obligation is each and every second. Explains Rashi. We have to see Rashi inside because Rashi is taking sides here. Says Rashi, the kevan sheyesh lo talis, since the person has a talis, imagine yourself you have a talis, 4 kanfos, with no strings attached, without the tzitzis, and you just leave it in the cupboard without the tzitzis in it. Wow, it's a chiddush. Rashi is following an opinion in Maseches Menachos. Every day, every moment you leave the tzitzis without tzitzis, the 4-cornered garment without tzitzis, you're over mitzvah saseh of making tzitzis, of having tzitzis. Even if it's in your cupboard, even if it's in your drawer, you chayev in tzitzis. Hilkach, says Rashi, kol yoyim merami mitzvos alei. Every day, it's very time pressing, precisely because there's not one day a year I'm supposed to wear tzitzis. Oh, no. So wait, Akiva. You hear what Rashi is saying? Rashi is now siding with an opinion in Menachos. I think it Daf Mem Aleph or maybe Mem Dalet. I think whatever in the sugya in Menachos between Mem Aleph and Mem Dalet. I think Daf Mem Aleph actually. There's a machlokes there. We know what's halacha. If you wear four-cornered garment, you're mechuyev to have tzitzis in it. There is another opinion there of Shmuel, I think, that holds that if you have a garment, even in the cupboard, nothing to do with wearing the garment, you also chayev. Just to keep everybody happy, halacha is not like that. Allah is not like Rashi. If you have a four-cornered garment which you're waiting for next year, for whenever you have time for that long Friday afternoon, then you'll make the tzitzit, no problem. Rashi is siding with the other opinion that holds that any garment you have at home that's four-cornered, if it's for wearing eventually, you have to have the tzitzit in it. If so, it's super time pressing, and so to mezuzah. How can you live in a house without mezuzah, right? Let's say that the family just moved into the new home right before Shabbos. How can they live without a mezuzah? Right? So they do need to do it right now. So you do need to write the mezuzah and have the tzitzis ASAP. That was your question. It's a Gemara's question. Beautiful. Ella, therefore we change, change the answer. We change root. Ella Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak. V'itema, or if you say Ravuna Breder Rav Yoshua, it'll be other lafkiron. Ay ay ay. Tzitzis and mezuzah, both of them are chiyuv on the owner. You only have tzitzis in your own garment. If you borrow a garment from your friend, me'ikar adin, you're not chayav to have tzitzis in it. Hence, the whole issue that we have nowadays with talis of the shul. If you borrow talis of the tzibur, it's a whole nidan and mishnah brura. I'm not going there right now. If you make a bracha or not, maybe it's not yours, but it's meant for you. Let's whatever. It's a big story. But the ma'aseh tzitzis not owned by you. Me'ikar adin, you're not mechuyev. So to mezuzah. In other words, if you sleep overnight in someone else's house who unfortunately has no mezuzah, a very secular Jew has no mezuzah, not your problem. Yeah, why? It's not yours. So what? Kiran. Even if the tzitzis is mine or the house is mine, there's an easy way out to spend the Shabbos without the tzitzis in, without the mezuzah in, by hefker. I could be mafkir. Hefker can be done in Shabbos for Torke mitzvah, yes, that's all story, but it can be, yeah. The Meforshim say over here, because it can be mafkir, disown, yeah, waiver my rights over the house. I can sleep in a house that really belongs to me, but not it's not mine. I take three people and say I'm mafkir the house. Hopefully, nobody else will take over. But in theory, you hope other people are not going to be koine because you can't be koine on Shabbos. Whatever, it can be mafkir the four-cornered garment. You can be mafkir the house, and therefore you can get away without having tzitzis or mezuzah because there's a way out. Even Rabbi Lezer would tell you it's okay not to do the tzitzis now, and therefore, if it's okay not to make the tzitzis and not to make the mezuzah, therefore it's asur and you're chayav. You're not supposed to do to prepare for those mitzvahs, as opposed to sukkah and all the other mitzvahs, shtar lechem, omer, sukkah, lulav. You have to have them right now. You have to have the sukkah. You have to have the lulav, and therefore you're allowed to prepare for them, even at the expense of chilul Shabbos. Omar Mar. Now, what we're going to do now, this Gemara will basically elaborate on what we said before, and let's just let's get into it. Omar Mar says Ma. Lulav v'kol machshirov doichin es Shabbos. Lulav, we said before, lulav and all the machshirin, meaning all the preparation for lulav that may involve chilul Shabbos, such as cutting the lulav from the tree, yeah, picking it from the tree, yeah, cutting. Doichin es Shabbos, don't push away Shabbos. You're allowed to cut your lulav. It's Shabbos, sukkahs, you need a lulav. Don't feel guilty, says Rabbi Lezer. Take your nice big saw and saw off and cut the lulav and use it. Says who? Obviously, Divrei Rabbi Lezer. Frak the Gemara, Minad Rabbi Lezer. How does Rabbi Lezer know that? What's the source for that? How do we know that lulav's preparation involving Chilul Shabbos is okay? Who told Rabbi Lezer that? And the Gemara is elaborating and asking, if you remember yesterday, we saw that regarding Omer, the only mitzvah, by the way, riddle, question, yeah, who knows? What is the one mitzvah there's a consensus about? Everyone agrees that one mitzvah, that preparing for the mitzvah does push away Shabbos? Omer. Yes. Mitzvah sa Omer, you're supposed to cut the Omer on Shabbos, lekula alma. What? Mimochras Shabbos, the afilu b'Shabbos. Even if the day after the first day of Yom Tov Pesach falls on Shabbos, you're supposed to cut Leil Shabbos, the new barley, to bring tomorrow Shabbos morning. It breaks Shabbos for sure. Now, Reb Lezer had that Gzera Shava that Shtei Halechem, the Shavuos bread, has the same halacha as Omer, and therefore Omer v'Shtei Halechem, they're like the paradigm in the eyes of Reb Lezer. They are the two mitzvahs that surely, for their preparation, you're allowed to break Shabbos. Is that the source for Pesach? Says, excuse me, is that the source for Lulav? Says Rashi b'Meh Matzinu. In other words, are you going to tell me that? Well, what's b'Meh Matzinu? B'Meh Matzinu means just logical, deriving logically one from the other. Comparison. Maybe there's no difference. If the Torah told me when it comes to Omer and Shtei Lechem, I'm allowed to break Shabbos to prepare, maybe that's carte blanche. Maybe that's like, an automated machine already. I can also break Shabbos for the lulav. Maybe it's just all the same. Says the Gemara, no, you can't say that. Why? Shekin tzorich gavoha. Omer and Shtei Lechem are in a way holier than lulav. Why? Because Omer Shtei Lechem are the need of gavoya, Kodesh Baruch Hu. In other words, when you bring a korban to Hashem, you bring a korban to God Himself, Omer Shtei Lechem, that justifies pushing away Shabbos. But for your own mitzvah, as important as it is, the mitzvah of lulav has, one level lower because it's not directly in Beis Hamikdash in the house of Hashem, and therefore, just by simple logic, I wouldn't automatically, derive from the korbanos to lulav, right? So I need another source. So what's the source? Zog the Gemara, Elo Merkra, we have another source. It says bayoim. In other words, as we all know, it says Volkachtem lachem bayoim ha rishon. You're supposed to take dalad minim on the first day. Bayoim. What's the word bayoim in the first day? Afilu b'Shabbos. Very good. In other words, you're supposed to take lulav even on Shabbos. Frag the Gemara, what do you mean to take lulav even on Shabbos? Ulma yilchisa. Which halacha exactly is it? Which Shabbos prohibition are you breaking by taking lulav? Ilem aletil tul. If you want to tell me that the actually carrying of the lulav is something that I'm allowed to do on Shabbos because the pasuk tells me that, doesn't make sense. Does the pasuk need to allow me carrying on? By the way, carrying is not in the street. When I say carry, not mushus lo shus, to hold the lulav, midoraisa, no problem to hold the lulav whatsoever. Why? I'm not breaking any of the 39. Nothing. Yet in the house, indoors. So why is the Torah telling me, you're allowed to take lulav? Why wouldn't I? I'm indoors. This is not muktzah. Maybe it is, by the way. Even if it is, who cares? Muktzah is the rabbanon. We're talking the Oraisa level. It's a Kodesh Baruch Hu in the Torah talking. So what's the big hula? What's the heter to take lulav on Shabbos? Well, obviously there's no problem to take lulav on Shabbos. Don't tell me what we do nowadays. It's Gzer Rabbanon. I knew it's going to come. That's Gzer Rabbanon. Remember, these are psukim. Psukim don't relate to the Rabbanon. Psukim relate only to the Raisa, because the psukim written in the Torah, last time I checked. Ella, yeah, you good? Ella lemachshirov, by default, must be the next best thing the Torah talks about is the machshirim of the lulav. And to take a knife and a saw and cut the lulav or the arava or the hadassim or the esrog picking off the tree is a clear isur d'oraisa of kotzer, of picking fruit or cutting a tree. Yeah, kotzer. That's machshirav, and that's what the Torah told me. Bayoim, even on Shabbos. Even on Shabbos, you're allowed to cut the lulav if you didn't get a chance to do it before. And it's now Shabbos Sukkah's first day, which midoraisa you are supposed to take lulav. We don't take lulav on Shabbos, it's the Rabbanon idea. Yeah. So you're allowed to do it on Shabbos, Azoi Dr. Blazer, and we'll learn it from the word Bayoim. Oh, according to Rabbanon, that's not true. Rabbanon argue on Reb Lezer, and what do they say? Rabbanon say that you're not allowed to cut the lulav on Shabbos, no? Machshir mitzvah, as we do nowadays, yeah? Rabbanon. Now, what do they do with the pasuk Bayoim? If the pasuk Bayoim is coming to teach me that you are allowed to cut the lulav, and Rabbanon say you're not supposed to, what do they do with the word Bayoim? Yeah? You could have said Rishon. What's Bayoim Rishon? Yeah? Barishon. It's an extra word. Oh, you could have said Barishon. And I know it's day and not outer space. And I think you're onto something that's needed bayoim velo balayla. Oh, why does it say bayoim rishon, not barishon? I'll tell you why. Simply day and not night. To tell me that lulav does not apply by night, as we know, you don't take lulav by night. So, according to Blazer, yoim is coming to tell me yoim even on Shabbos. According to Chachamim, says yoim and not night, excluding the night. There, Blazer, now it's what I like to call lahavdil ping pong Gemara. Now, what does Blazer do? The ball is in his court. How does Blazer know you don't take lulav by night? Because he used the posuk by Yoim to tell me Yoim even Shabbos. How does he know Yoim excluding the night? How does he know you don't take lulav by night? Yeah, you went on a long cholamoy trip. Now it's nighttime. Take the lulav now. How do you know you don't? Nafkale, he learns it from Usmachtem lifnei Hashem Elokechem shiv'as yomim. At the end of that very same pasuk, it says you should rejoice in front of Hashem 7. What did you say? Yomim. Oh, days. Yomim velo leilos. Days and not nights. Very nice. So Rabbi Eliezer is actually covered very nicely. The pasuk says twice yom, yoim and then yomim. The first time it says yoim means yoim even on Shabbos, right? And the second pasuk, the second part yomim excluding the night. Now the what?
Can ask, is there any example of any Yom Tov where that says Balelot? Because maybe that's this is an example that's the Lashon is used.
Very, very good. Very good. Very good. We're going to, very nice. Sukkah, as we're going to see soon, applies day and night. So you're onto something. Listen in. Very good. I, the Rabbanon. Now the ball is there in their court. According to Rabbanon, it says twice Yoim. The first Yoim is Yoim as opposed to night. So why does it say the second time Yomim? The second Yomim is now redundant. Says the Gemara, listen in. Itzrich, we need to have the second Yomim. Sal Kedat Chamina, I would have thought Neil of Shivas Yomim is Sukkah. I would have thought, so what if it says Yomim? Yomim doesn't always mean Yomim and not Leilos. Look at Sukkah. Ma Sukkah, ma lehalon by Sukkah, Yomim, va'afilu Leilos. Even though by Sukkah it says, by Sukkah is Teshvu Shivas Yomim, and there Yomim means days and nights. We all know you're supposed to sleep and eat in the Sukkah at night, right? The Gemara brings down a drosha over there. You learn it from the Miluim. You do day and night. So Yomim is not always exclusive. Afkan Yomim v'afilu leilos. So maybe here too, Yomim and even the nights, Kamash Malan. That's why we need an extra word by Yom here, Yomim, to tell me Yomim excluding the nights. Very good. So according to Chachamim, you need twice. You need Yomim, right? And another time Yom to tell me that Lulav, right, is different to Sukkah. So we have put extra stress, extra emphasis to tell me Lulav and Sukkah are scarily similar. Don't confuse them, don't mix them up. Although Sukkah is day and night, Lulav on the other end is day and only day. That's why I have to say day twice. Very good. Now, Frag the Gemara, all very nice. So now we have established both Reb Lezer and Chachamim. Now, very nice. Let's go back to Reb Lezer. Reb Lezer holds that lulav, there's a special source for lulav to tell me the lulav's cutting, preparing, carrying, whatever, does push away Shabbos. You're allowed to take your muktzah knife and cut the hadassim, arovois, for your lulav on Shabbos according to Reb Lezer. Frag the Gemara, if so, remember what are the other mitzvos we mentioned before? Oimer and Shtei Alechem. Frag the Gemara, wait a second. Before we continue, remember there was a hierarchy over here. We said that those mitzvahs, oimer Shtei Alechem, they're LaHashem, Gavoa, holy, holy, holy. And lulav in the totem pole is one level below, because lulav is a choshev mitzvah d'oraisa, but it's not in Beis Hamikdash. If so, Frag the Gemara, let's change course. V'lichtav rachmonu belulav, v'nei suhanach v'nilfu minei. She should only write in lulav that even lulav, the lowly one, relatively, breaks Shabbos, is okay to break, trumps Shabbos. So then why do you need the Gzer Shov of Omer v'Shtei Alechem? If for lulav it can break Shabbos, Kol Sheken it can break Shabbos for Omer and Shtei Alechem. They're higher, right? So why do you need the Gzer Shov of Omer v'Shtei Alechem? Just write lulav. And if lulav you break Shabbos for, Kol Sheken for the holy, 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 Gavoya Omer v'Shtei Alechem, for sure break Shabbos. So why do they need their own source? You can learn it from Kal V'chomer. Answers the Gemara. Like they say about children, each one has his own shining star. Every mitzvah has its own advantage over the others. Says the Gemara, Mishum deikal mifrach, I could have challenged what you just told me. Malelulav shekinton arba minim. Oh, that's a very interesting concept. Lulav, what? Ta'un arba minim. What do you think it means? Lulav, we know the lulav does mean only lulav. It means four minim, right? The four species. Oh, lulav is the only mitzvah, yeah? I mean, I don't know only mitzvah in the Torah, only mitzvah mentioned here, in this page at least, that has four components, and all four components are me'akev. I checked in Shulchan Aruch just to make sure. Let's say you have lulav, hadassim, esrog, the best of the best, and you don't have arovas, not even one. You don't have any arovas. Can you take it to the bracha? Who cares about the arovas? They represent the chilonim. Shalosh minim. No, you can't. Oh, yoitze. In other words, Rabbanim minim are all me'akev, are all mandatory, they're all compulsory to have dalad minim. And in that respect, lulav is higher and better than Omer and Shtei Alechem. Because Omer and Shtei Alechem, although Tosfos says you bring with the Omer and the Sochim and Behemoths and also with the Shtei Alechem, but they're not mandatory. You can bring Omer just Omer. You can bring Shtei Alechem just Shtei Alechem. Mashenk and Arba minim, you can't say, okay, I don't have a hadassim. Say that, don't be such a frummy. I don't have adasim, must they make a nice bracha on the lulav and esrog and aravas? No, you can't. You just can't go on without one. So because that mitzvah has four components, four different items, and some of them have even more than one item, that mitzvah, that special chashivus that lulav has and other mitzvahs don't, that's why you can't learn one from the other, right? At the end of the day, they're equal. So I wouldn't have automatically derived that if lulav you can break Shabbos for, you can also break Shabbos for menachos. Why? Because lulav has an advantage that they don't. So maybe only for lulav you can break Shabbos, not for them. And from them you can't learn just from them to lulav because they are higher mitzad kavoa. Each one has his own shining star, his own advantage. They are gavoa, and he's dalet minim four. Mimeli, you can't learn one from the other. They're both snabish, both VIP, and therefore you need a pasuk for this that you can break Shabbos, and for the other one for lulav you can break Shabbos for. Now let's continue. Yeah, yes, yeah, good. Sukkah, yeah, good. Sukkah v'chol mechsher dochen es Shabbos. Sukkah. They call machshirea, meaning you're allowed to. What does that mean? Dochen es Shabbos. Dima Belezo, did you forget to build your sukkah with a hammer and the nails before Shabbos? Don't sweat over it. Says Rablezer, never too late. Yeah, do it on Shabbos. Make sure your frum neighbors don't watch. Yeah, and the Rablezer says build your sukkah on Shabbos. He believes that you're allowed to have the machshirim on Shabbos itself. Minayla Rablezer ho. Where's Rablezer's source? From Omer and Shtei Alechem, which we have established before, you can't automatically derive from them to Sukkah. Sheken tzarich gavahu, because they are higher. They're Beis Hamikdash. Sukkah is not Beis Hamikdash. Imi lulav, sheken ton arba minim. Lulav has his own advantage, his own special unfair advantage that he has four components. Sukkah doesn't. Sukkah is one thing. Ela, so we need a special source for Sukkah. Gomar shivas yomim lulav. Oh, as we said, the words Shivas Yomim appear both in Lulav and in Sukkah. So let's make a shidduch. Malalan mechshir of Dochenes Shabbos. Havkanami mechshir of Dochenes Shabbos. Just like Lulav's mechshirim, we have established Lulav's mechshirim push away Shabbos because of the word Bayoim, and it says Shivas Yomim, Shivas Yomim, Shivas Yomim, Shivas Yomim. Import export Zera Shava, and now they're one big happy family. All the mitzvahs of Sukkah are the same, and now both Sukkah similar to lulav, also justifies breaking Shabbos. Frag the Gemara, v'lichte brachmono besukkah v'neiti anach v'nigmo minei. If sukkah is the lowliest one in the totem pole, it's like Chad Gadya. This Gemara is Mamsh Chad Gadya. Yeah? What do we always start off with? Omer Shtei Alechem. Oh, they're hailing, Beis Hamikdash. Oh, Beis Hamikdash. What's the second one? Alba minim. They have 4 points, and you don't. So Sukkah is the lowest one in the group. Oh, so the Torah should only tell me in Sukkah that even lowly Sukkah is good enough to break Shabbos for. Holshek and Lulav and the other ones and Omer. So why do you need to write? Why do you need special sources for them? Learn it from Sukkah b'kal v'chomer. So the Gemara no mishum dikal mifrach. Sukkah has its shining moment. You could have asked me Malasukah shekeneges beleles kebayomim. Sukkah apparently is the only mitzvah, at least in this list. In this list, it's the only mitzvah that applies by night as well. Let's challenge. Omer shtel lechem, like all other ma'aser korbanos, apply only by day. You're not allowed to. What I said before was cutting the barley. That's not the mitzvah. It's a hechshel. Yeah, but to bring the barley to Beis Hamikdash, you do that in the morning of the second day of the first Chol Hamoed of Pesach, first day of Chol Hamoed. Only day. All korbanos are done by day. What you do by night is only the leftover ivorim and all that. But the actual korbanos is only by day. Yeah. So since Omer and Shtelachem are only by day, Lulav is only by day. Ha! Sukkah has an advantage, nobody else does. Sukkah applies both days and nights, right? And therefore, since Sukkah is both days and nights, it has that advantage. So if the Torah only told me the idea of pushing Shabbos for Sukkah, I would have said, yes, of course for Sukkah you're supposed to break Shabbos, because it's a Heilig L'choshev mitzvah of 24 hours times 7. That's quite a long mitzvah, right? As opposed to the other ones, who are less choshev in that respect. Therefore, each one needs his own source. Each one has his own shining star, needs its own source. And now let's continue in the list. Matzah. This is the Chadgadia. V'havdil. Matzah v'chol mechsher dochen es Shabbos. Dir Reb Lezer. Says Reb Lezer, did you forget to bake your matzahs before Shabbos? Never too late. You can bake the matzah on Shabbos, and all is good. Minal Reb Lezer ho. How does Reb Lezer know that? How do you know you can bake matzah on Shabbos? Your wife will scream at you. How can you do such a thing on Shabbos? Im Omer v'shtel lechem, she can tzorach gavoa, right? Omer v'shtel lechem, Beis Hamikdash. Matzah is not in Beis Hamikdash. Im lulav, she can tol ba'aminim. Lulav has 4 components, well, matzah doesn't. Matzah is just matzah. Again, of course you have morer and dalet koises, but not nakiv. Not nakiv, right? You can have matzah alone. Im is sukkah, she koneges b'leilus kabayomim. Sukkah is days and nights. Matzah is only by night. Oh, here the Meforshim remind us that matzah as a mandatory thing is only by night, the first night. You know people who hate matzah? We all know people who hate matzah, right? So when do they eat matzah? Only Leila Seder. Not the chuyev to eat it throughout Pesach. Okay, the amoitzi for that, but as a mitzvah matzah, it's only by night, the first night. So therefore, matzah seems to be now, again, it's the bottom of the list, right? So how do you know what? Not true. If you sleep, you have to sleep only by. No, you can eat many other things that are not matzah. That's not true. No, if you eat matzah, and also you're not mikayim a mitzvah except for the gon, you don't make the brocha al mitzvahs matzah al chilas matzah on any other time, right? And when you sleep in the sukkah, you make the brocha leisha b'sukkah every night, right? The sukkah you mikayim a mitzvah every time you sleep in the sukkah, any time of day or night. Matzah you're not mikayim a mitzvah. The gon says you do. But even the Goan, I don't think it says you have to make a bracha, right? So it's not the same. I hear what you hear. Yeah. V'haraya the bracha. Yes, only Leila Seder. Yeah. Ella! Opa, we need a new source.
I'm not sure.
What?
I'm not sure.
What do you mean?
No, and you have two succah.
2 story. Still only night and not every day and every night. Ella goma chamishasa michag sukkos. Oh. You learn the famous Gzera Shova, which we apply for many halachas. The same word, Chamishoso, the 15th of the month, applies where? Both Sukkot and Pesach, both on the 15th. And it's a Gzera Shova. Malalan Mechshir Adochen Shabbos, just like Sukkah, we have established the Mechshirim Doiche Shabbos. Why? How do we know that? We know that from the Gzera Shova to Lulav. Even by Shabbos, you're allowed to build your Sukkah. Afkan mechshir adochen it's a Shabbos. So too by matzah, the mechshir mitzvah, baking the matzah and everything else is doiche Shabbos. And again, the same question: v'lichtav rachmonu b'matzah v'neitu anach v'ligmor minei. If matzah is the one that's the lowest of the low so far, it's not gavoya. It's only by night. It doesn't have daled minim. Doesn't have any luster. So maybe you should just mention the halacha that even matzah can break Shabbos, so to speak. Kol shekin the others. Why do they need their own sources? Now we're going to find the advantage of matzah over the others. What is it? Women. Mishum de'ikal mifrach. One could argue that's Ma'ale matzah shekeneges benoshim ke'ba'anoshim. Matzah, as opposed to all other mitzvahs that we've mentioned, applies to women as much as to men. As we all know, women are not mechuyev to sit in the sukkah, right? And if we wouldn't be in Torah anytime, I would have told you the joke that somebody told me that he says, why is it called Zman Simchaseinu? Because the women are out of the sukkah. Okay, say that I know we aren't Torah anytime. It was a joke. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it. I'm quoting for somebody else. I don't believe in it. The Kitzer, Benoshim, Kivanoshim. So the matzah is something that, although it's mitzvah shazman groma, that applies to both women and men. And Rashi is telling us why. Maybe consider Rashi inside. Why is that so? Why are women chayiv a mitzvah matzah if matzah is a mitzvah seser shazman groma? As they like to say in Art Scrollies, it's a time-bound or time-related mitzvah. So why are women will chayiv a matzah? I don't know if we have time to read inside. That is why Dalit Kosis. Afena Boisones is the reason why the Chayiv in Dalit Kosis. Matzah is a different reason. Matzah is because there is a concept of matzah and chometz are correlated. They're two sides of the same coin. Kol sheyeshnoi bebal toichel chometz yeshnoi bekumechol matzah. Since the lo taseh and naseh are mentioned together, they are two sides of the same coin. And since women, of course, are not allowed to eat chometz, right? They clean the house very well, right? They're not allowed to eat chometz, yeah? And because mitzvahs lo taseh, even as man groma, they have to keep. And it's now mukash, juxtaposed with matzah, that's why they have to eat matzah. That is, by the way, my friends, the reason why women have to eat seudah on Shabbos. Didn't ever occur to you that Shabbos is a mitzvah seser shazman groma? Why do they light the candles? Why do they eat the challah? Right? Why? Because just like they're not allowed to break Shabbos, so too the flip side, they're supposed to keep the positive mitzvahs of Shabbos, and that's why. Masha'enke and lulav sukkah, there's no mitzvahs lo taseh involved, and therefore sukkah and lulav they're out of the story. Masha'enke and matzah they're in the story. So that's an advantage of matzah. So maybe a mitzvah which is across gender, both men and women. Right now, they're the only two genders, men and women. Right? It's a new thing, right? Since Trump, yeah, it's a nayzach. So now, since our men and women, both genders are mechuyev to eat what? To eat matzah. Maybe only that is a choshev enough mitzvah to break Shabbos. But maybe other mitzvahs, no. That's what the other mitzvahs also need their source. Shofar, shofar, so good. Shofar, v'kol machshiv dochenes Shabbos devil bezer. Did you forget to cut the shofar off the ram's head? Don't worry, do it on Shabbos, even though it's osir, it's goizes, I guess, whatever. It's osir, but according to Blazer, you're allowed to prepare for the mitzvah of shofar and build the shofar, or scrape off the shofar, whatever you want. You have to do for whatever needs to be done for shofar on Shabbos. Again, I'm reminding you that me'ikar din, just to make sure we're all on the same page, that midoraisa you blow shofar on Shabbos or Shoshana. It's a Durabanan thing, right? The fact you don't blow shofar on Shabbos is because maybe the person will come and show it to a Talmid Chacham, yeah, to learn how to blow. But shofar midoraisa does, yeah, no problem to blow the shofar on Shabbos. Now Reb Lezer comes and takes it one step further. Reb Lezer says you're allowed to prepare the shofar even at the expense of Malachos Shabbos, yeah, the shofar, like all the other mitzvahs that I mentioned here. And again, the question is, how does the Blazer know that? And again, starts the Chadgadia. She can tell gavor. Yeah, I don't have to translate anymore. Lulav, she can turn arba minim, and shofar is only one. Sukkah, she can guess belelos kabayamim. Well, shofar is only by day, not by night. Matzah, she can guess benoshim kibanoshim. Ooh, let's stop right there. Matzah applies to both women and men, while shofar is not. In other words, although women are very careful to listen to shofar nowadays, it's a very good thing. There are those who say, even that's not so simple, I looked into it, there are those who say they were mekabel al atzmam. They accepted to hear shofar, and even that's debatable. It's a very nice choshev thing, very holy moment, but me'ikar din, women are not mechuyev to listen to shofar. Yeah? Yeah, let's say, yeah, it's a big difference between women and Rosh Hashanah. Women are not mechuyev to listen to shofar. So just we see that right here. So again, so shofar seems to have all the disadvantages in the world. Therefore, you cannot derive it automatically from the other mitzvahs into shofar. So how do you know shofar is doiche Shabbos? Because the pasuk is telling me Yom Trua Lochem, similar to the first drosha, Yom Trua Lochem. Again, the word Yom is redundant. The Torah could have told me Trua Lochem. What's Trua? Blowing, yeah. Trua, good Trua. Kia. What is Yom Trua? Yeah, why Yom Trua? I'll tell you why, says Reb Lezer. But Yom, Vafil b'Shabbos. Yom, whenever the day falls, even on Shabbos, you're supposed to what? to, I'm using a word which is very euphemistic, you do the shofar. What do you mean do the shofar? Ulamai. What exactly, which Isra Shabbos you're breaking by blowing the shofar? Ilay maletkia. Do you think that blowing the shofar is Osir and Shabbos? Midoraisa? Wrong. No. Any instrument, by the way, the fact you're not allowed to play the piano or the trumpet or the saxophone on Shabbos is a darabanan. With Doraisa, you're allowed to. And now we're in Doraisa level, right? But the Gemara elaborates even more. Ilay maletkia. If you want to tell me that that idea of shofar pushing Shabbos is regarding the actual tkiya, you're allowed to be to midoraisa. You're allowed to blow the shofar on Shabbos, stam, even in regular Shabbos, whenever you feel like. Shabbos pashas b'shalach. If not for the rabbanon, you blow the shofar, as we're going to prove now. Atana de Beis Shmuel. We learned in the yeshiva of Shmuel. Kol meleches avoida lo tasu. What's meleches avoida lo tasu? Maybe kol meleches includes more melachas than just the Mishkan. No, yotz tkiyas shofar verdias apas shichochma ve'enu melacha. Let me explain. Tkiyas shofar and redias pas are chochma ve'enu melacha. What does that mean? Tkiyas shofar, blowing a shofar, we'll deal with redias apas soon. Tkiyas shofar is a chochma. Yeah, it's a chochma. It's something that needs a lot of skills. You have to learn to play an instrument. Be it shofar, be it piano or violin. It's a big chochma. And it's a lot of effort, you're professional musicians. So maybe that's what the Torah doesn't allow you. No, it says meleches avoido. Melacha means something that has a constructive a yetzira, a creation. You didn't create anything, and therefore you're not chayiv midoraisa if you do that. The same thing is radias sapas, which we mentioned twice before in this masechta, to scrape off the bread from an oven, from an old-style oven, and leave it intact is a very hard thing to do. You need to learn how to do it. You need a PhD of the baker. Yeah, but Lamaisi, you're not creating a new. It's the same bread in and out. Just very hard to do it. Rosh Hashanah. Midoraisa, you're allowed to do that. Midorabana, no. But we're talking Doraisa here. So Midoraisa, you're allowed to blow a shofar. So why is there talking to me? But Yom Afilu b'Shabbos. Why not? Ella, we know what Rebbe Lezer is up to. Lemach shirin, of course, same thing as before. If the Torah allows me to do the shofar thing on Shabbos, the shofar thing is what? The preparation, because clearly to cut it off the ram's horn is osur, and to start scraping it off and shining it is osur. Maki bepatish, memachek, tons of things. And therefore, that's a chiddush. You're allowed to do even that on Shabbos. The Rabbanon who do not allow you clearly to do all that, and you cannot prepare the shofar on Shabbos. What do Rabbanon do with the word biyoim truah? It's an extra word. Bayoim v'lo balayla, similar to the first drasha. You're only supposed to blow shofar by day, not by night. As we know, not kill shofar by night. Rebbe the ball's in his court. Rebbe Lezer used the pasuk bayoim to tell me yom even on Shabbos. So how does he know yom and not by night? How does he know the day excludes the night of Rosh Hashanah? Bayoim v'lo balayla minale. How does he know that day is opposed to night? Nafkalei mi bayoim kippurim taviru shofar b'chol artzechem. The Gamri Me'adodi, which means it says by Yom Kippur, it says there Yom HaKippurim. We're not talking about the Tkiyah we do nowadays. We're talking about the Yovel. Once in 50 years, they blow the shofar on Yom Kippur, and then everybody goes free, the Avodim and the Karkoris. And there it says Yom Kippurim, and that's for sure extra. And that's only by day. Yeah? Since there it's day, not night, Gamri Me'adodi. There's a drasha in Rosh Hashanah. We learn a lot of halachas from the tkiyas of Yom Kippur to the tkiyas of Rosh Hashanah. So since Yom Kippur is day, not night, so to Rosh Hashanah, day, not night. And now the word Yom in Rosh Hashanah is coming to include Shabbos, to allow you to cut the shofar on Shabbos. Now comes the ultimate question. Again, if shofar is the bottom of the page, the bottom of the pole, then shofar, even shofar, which doesn't have any of the advantages, still you break Shabbos for it, kol sheken the other ones. Why do you have to write all the other limudim? Dog digmar, no. Shofar is a choshev a thing. Mitkiyas shofar the Rosh Hashanah, lekal migmar. You can't learn from Tkiyas shofar Rosh Hashanah. She can machnes zichrones shel Yisrael ve'en shamayim. Shofar is very, very, very important in a way more than all other mitzvahs, because the shofar brings in all the hopefully good memory. Yitzchak Avinu, where like Kodesh Kadoshim, it says Kiyas shofar is like a Kohen Gadol Kodesh Kadoshim. You bring in the zikaron to the Hashem's holy throne in the holiest day. Such a choshev a mitzvah. Of course, it pushes away Shabbos. Other mitzvahs, not necessarily so. Mit tkiyah shofar Yom Kippurim. There's another tkiyah that's only by day and pushes away Shabbos, tkiyah shofar of Yom Kippur. You can't learn Lekel Migmer either. Why can't we learn from there? Damar Toku Beis Din Shofar Nifter Avodim Levatayim. In other words, since the tkiyah shofar of Yom Kippur is it's not just a mitzvah, it changes the status of hundreds of people. All the avodim go back home. All the avodim who are eved nirtza, they go home, and all the lands go back to the original owners. Thank you. Eved Ivrid, which is an Eved Nirtza, true. Eved Knani never goes free, that's true. Because that Tkiyah Shofar is not just a mitzvah, it's all financial change. It's a huge shift in the whole financial situation and the whole matzav. Therefore, it has a lot of chashivus. So if that breaks Shabbos, doesn't mean everybody else does. Remember, each mitzvah has its maila, and each mitzvah has its limud. Thank you so much to everybody over here. Thank you to Torah Anytime, the amazing website. Shen Kamoyu. Thank you for Lorenz. Thank you to everybody here in the shul and everybody who watches us on YouTube. Atzlocho, Vrocho, thank you.